Now, ESPN made a list for some big name free agents, and obviously, none of the big names were actually kind of linked by Bobby Marks to the Detroit Pistons. So I made this graphic for people watching on YouTube to kind of follow along. So they mentioned Kobe White from the Charlotte Hornets, Ao DeSumo from the Timberwolves, Rui Hachimura from the Lakers, Kelly Oubre Jr. from the 76ers, one-time Piston Quentin Grimes
Pistons
from the
legend.
Sixers. Yeah, 6 games of Quentin Grimes and a bunch of shit talking, like low key on Twitter, apparently. To the Pistons, I mean, when you saw this report, I mean, are there any players on this list in free agency, if you're the Pistons, that you would be remotely intrigued in?
If they're saying this is the entire free agency, it's like I feel like to the crowd that wants Trajan Langdon to get that second star, that this would be a letdown. I
Yeah.
believe this would be more of what they did last summer and what they did, what Trajan did to try and craft this team. And that's putting this effectively in the hands of Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, who we presume is going to get paid, Asar Thompson, who we presume is going to get paid, and then everybody else support these guys. I wonder if the way they would look at it, if this is the way they went, if, hey, we just had dead legs in game 7 and we're probably here beating the Knicks and we're in the finals and people are sitting here looking at this differently, saying we just need to make tweaks. Now, I would love to see a secondary player. If you're telling me you're getting a secondary player in here next to Cade and one of these guys, 100% fire. 100% fire. But, I like the first 2 guys on this list, and those are 2 players that we've seen, I think, it feels like for years, especially Ao from the Big Ten, for years, it feels like with the Chicago Bulls. And they're 2 players who I was like, dog, why are you letting these guys just kind of waste away over there type of thing? And so those are 2 players who I definitely wouldn't mind seeing here in a Detroit Pistons uniform. If you're talking about off this list, there's another one that just popped into the chat that I actually really, really like. Ray Jones said Norman Powell, but based off this list, I do believe Kobe White and Ao DeSumo are 2 players I think really fit. Rui Hachimura is interesting. I feel like Kelly Oubre Jr. from like 4 years ago would have been the guy when Philly was able to kind of snag him on that really, really low, cheap deal. But I don't know if today is necessarily the type of fit. And Quentin Grimes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the best player that kind of fits the Pistons culture, in my opinion, is Ao. Because it is a two-way guard. Like personally, like when I saw Ao mentioned, I was like, bro, we literally could have traded for Ao at the deadline. Like, and you telling me we couldn't throw a couple seconds to Chicago's way and just got him. No disrespect to Red Velvet, Kevin Herter, but I mean, like Ao to me would have been an intriguing piece in the playoffs, or even Kobe White for that matter. I mean, he went berserk in the play-in tournament game. He single-handedly eliminated the Miami Heat in that fourth quarter. But like, I see Rui, and I'm like, okay, that to me would just be a Tobias replacement because Tobias decides I'm going to LA or I'm going to go get one last bag. Like Chicago is going to offer me like 30 million, or Brooklyn might offer me a little bit of a payday because I mean he's going into like what his 15th, 16th season, so he's probably looking to get paid maybe one more time.
It'd be the last contract, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Kelly Oubre. I mean, like I've been screaming for Kelly Oubre probably for like 6 years. I thought he would have been a perfect like rebuild forward to kind of bring in because he's a really good 3-point shooter, underrated like passing lane sneaky defender. But Quentin Grimes can just like jump off the Ambassador Bridge for all I care. Like I don't want to see that guy in a Pistons uniform again. Like I'm good with that, man. Like when we had him, he was just like he said all the nice things that you wanted to hear, and then like as soon as he was gone, he was just like you kind of saw like a little bit of sneak dissing like on his socials. Like I was like, oh
yeah,
like, get
it's
the
no
hell
need for those guys. I feel you on that one, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel you on that one.
If I'm a Piston fan, 2 players in free agency that would be at the top of my board. Norman Powell, like a lot of people had mentioned. If you can't get Norman Powell this offseason, this goes south. Maybe you try a CJ McCollum. maybe you try it. I mean, I know it's not the sexiest name. He's just been a really good vet. He could get you that 20 points a game. He can handle the basketball a little bit. He just plays really slow. Him and Cade to me would probably have the slowest. Would be the slowest paced backcourt in probably the NBA because they're both methodical. But I mean, maybe CJ, maybe you go down the John Collins route. I saw Motor City Hoops out to Bryce Simon write a article about him today.
Yeah,
free agency, man, it blows. It's a bunch of old guys and some under the radar players that I think a lot of Pistons fans would not get too excited about.
Yeah, and I don't know the prospects of Norman Powell. I just feel like he's going to be one of those guys that we love that is just the least likely to be in a Detroit Pistons uniform. But CJ McCollum is a guy who, if you remember at the trade deadline, I put out my top 5 candidates for the Pistons that I would like to see them go after. He was one of those guys, along with Colin Sexton, who I thought he would have been a big help for the Pistons in his last playoffs. But I digress. But CJ McCollum was somebody I thought, with this Pistons makeup, I really think you just need him for the moments that you saw him shine with Atlanta. And when Atlanta got him, I thought that they got exactly what the Pistons need. Somebody who in the fourth quarter, when things are getting tight, somebody who's used to that type of pressure, then at that point in time, you can have him start to take over. There were moments in the Cleveland Cavaliers series a couple of times where, they started to blitz Cade. One of those games was the one where there was 3 straight turnovers at the end. Another one, he just didn't really have it. And the team kind of let go of a 9-point lead over 2 minutes. And then you got game 7. Those are 3 times right there where I believe, even if you're playing a load management game with CJ McCollum most of the year, if he's still proven to be one of those big time players during the crunch time moments, that's where I'm looking at, okay, this is a player that I probably want to look at finding somebody to get on the team. Now, is he starting? Probably not. For me, if he's not one of those guys that's going to be there consistently during the season, but if he's going to be playing consistently, I'd still probably bring him off the bench to be able to get a little bit more youth, like you said, a little bit more speed into that starting lineup with Cade. I think if you're going to take the ball a little bit out of Cade's hands, he's proven he can play next to a guard that can push the pace and things of that nature. That's probably why I'm going, is looking to push the pace just a little bit more and utilize CJ McCollum more for those kind of big time moments. Like Atlanta Hawks, young team, they had a guy that was able to kind of do that for them in the ways that Tobias tried to play tough, but not quite the big game, big time player that I believe CJ McCollum can show up to be in certain spurts. But that's if you're looking kind of, like you said, like budget type free agency.
Yeah, I mean, he's 34. I don't know how much is left in the tank. He's the CBA killer. Apparently, he's the reason that we have aprons now. But I think he would be like worst case scenario. Your free agency maybe doesn't go the way you want it, or all these names that are linked. Watch us not even trade for a guy that we're talking about. Watch it just be like a complete watch it be Zion or something like that. Like just like out of the blue. It would not surprise me whatsoever. If it was just like a player that we're not even paying attention to.